If you want to see what it looks like when a presidential candidate is so aggressively on the wrong side of an issue, just look at how Donald Trump has handled the issue of abortion. After weeks of promising that he was going to release a statement, here is the screed that he came up with.
My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state.
Now, so as not to bury the lead here, and because many members of the media love nothing more than to take Donald Trump at his word, if you believe something just because Trump said it, then perhaps you might have slept through the last 8 years. Donald Trump lies incessantly and without shame. He lies for power, he lies for votes. When he comes out and offers what he thinks is a moderate position, it's not, but we'll get to that in a moment, it's not because he believes it, it's because he thinks it'll be politically expedient. Remember, the guy has zero long-held political convictions. This was Trump back in 1999.
I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion. I hate it. I hate everything it stands for. I cringe when I listen to people debating the subject. But I just believe in choice. And again, it may be a little bit of a New York background because there is some different attitude in different parts of the country. And, I was raised in New York and grew up and work and everything else in New York City. But I am strongly for choice, and yet I hate the concept of abortion.
But you would not ban it?
No.
Or ban partial birth abortion?
No, I am pro-choice in every respect.
So when Trump says anything now, just remember, he's saying it because he thinks it'll help him politically and electorally. That is all he cares about. He needs to become president to shield himself from the raft of ongoing prosecutions that he's contending with. That's what this is about. Trump's priority is Trump and nothing more. Consider, too, going back to the initial video clip, when he says that he supports leaving it up to the states, nearly half of the states have abortion bans or restrictions in place right now. So if you support leaving it up to the states, then you support the more than 20 states that currently have bans or restrictions. In other words, we can all see that that's just a roundabout way of saying that you support abortion bans. States' rights is not some nebulous theoretical concept. It quite literally means abortion bans that are in place right now. It means Trump supports the full abortion bans that are in place in Texas and Alabama and Louisiana and Arkansas and Tennessee, Kentucky and West Virginia and Idaho. That is what it means when you say that you support states' rights as far as abortion is concerned. And that's a point that Joe Scarborough pointed out on air.
What he just said was he supports, Florida's 6-week ban.
Yep.
6-week ban, ban before women know whether they're pregnant or not.
Dangerous.
And bans like Wisconsin had, that 1849 was total ban. I'm not sure if it's still in effect now, but there are, again, crazy, extreme laws that have been passed that Donald Trump just said he supports and he salutes.
All of which is to say, Trump can use all the verbal gymnastics he wants. He isn't actually fooling anybody. Now, for those still trafficking in denial and thinking that maybe Donald Trump is some moderate on this issue, consider the statements that pro-life organizations made immediately following the release of Trump's video. The president of Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America said, quote, "With lives on the line, SBA Pro-Life America and the pro-life grassroots will work tirelessly to defeat President Biden and extreme congressional Democrats." Does that sound like someone who just suffered some major abortion defeat by some moderate Republican politician? Of course not. She knows exactly what Trump will do in office, as do all of us, because we've had the misfortune of witnessing it once before. He is not a moderate, he's an extremist who will do whatever necessary to pander to a far-right base that he relies on for power, which is precisely why he spends so much time taking credit for the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended.
And also precisely why Biden is making ads like this one.
Because for 54 years they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it. And I'm proud to have done it.
In 2016, Donald Trump ran to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, in 2024, he's running to pass a national ban on a woman's right to choose. I'm running to make Roe v. Wade the law of the land again, so women have a federal guarantee to the right to choose. Donald Trump doesn't trust women. I do. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
And the reason why Biden's making ads like that and why Trump is releasing statements like the one he did is the same. Both of them know that Donald Trump and the Republican Party have screwed up royally by overturning Roe. They've both got eyes, and they can see quite plainly that Democrats have trounced them in race after race across the country, in election cycle after election cycle, even in red states like Ohio and Kentucky and Kansas and Alabama, and purple states like Virginia. In fact, Dobbs was almost unilaterally responsible for the single most significant electoral realignment of our lifetimes. So it is rich that Donald Trump thinks he has room to negotiate a compromise here, when it sure does seem like the compromise that Americans are willing to engage in is to vote out every Republican and leave it at that. To that point, here's what I would say in response to Trump's offer to litigate abortion rights. This isn't a negotiation. We're not going to settle for it being left up to the states, or for a 6-week ban, or 12 weeks, or 16 weeks, or whatever other nice round number Trump arbitrarily landed on, because reproductive rights aren't negotiable. You don't get to strip rights away that Americans have enjoyed for 50 years and then present yourself as some white knight by deigning to give a little bit back. We will get all of those rights back, and we will settle for nothing less than that. That's how this negotiation will work. So let's be perfectly clear here about what's at stake in November. If Trump is reelected, there will be a nationwide abortion ban. And not just in red states, in all states. That means that people in California, in New York, in Vermont will all be subject to the same draconian ban. That's what this election's about. Trump will try to spin it. He'll change what he says depending on who he's talking to. He'll try and make his unpopular ban seem reasonable. He'll try to claim that the Democrats are the extremists. None of it will work. The American people have made abundantly clear where they stand on this issue, and it is as far away from Trump and his MAGA acolytes as possible. And in the same way that we all made our voices heard in 2022 on the back of Dobbs, and 2023 on the back of Dobbs, and even earlier this year on the back of Dobbs, we're going to do it again in November. And then our Democratic majorities will codify Roe into law once and for all, because despite the GOP's best efforts to trade away our rights, the American people are watching and they are voting. Before you go, to see more content from MSNBC, make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking the link right here on this screen. And you can also follow the link to see some exclusive content only on TikTok.
Hey everyone, MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.